Okay, hope you had good break. Hope you had good break and you had good connect also. So we have two more sessions, and the next speaker is Keerthivasan. So he is a senior consultant at Thoughtworks. He's a developer too. He's having 2.5 years of experience. His prime focus is on on Gen AI part, and he's going to give a talk on revolutionary testing on Gen AI using Phantom tool, Phantom QA. Sorry. uh, Over to you, Keerthivasan.
Hello, hello. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sai, actually, for introducing me. Thank you for introducing me, Sai. Okay, I'll just share my screen quickly. Just give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, we today's session was all about AI, I think, and definitely there's one more session on AI where we have tried to build some tool around functional testing on how using some technologies over here using generative AI, definitely, and yeah, I created this slide in the morning, but I think it's not relevant anymore. Like a lot of people asked you these things, but tell me this thing, like you definitely have heard of generative AI, but how much impact do you think it is going to create? Like, how much transformation is it doing today? Can we?
Yeah, for me, it has done a lot because I've learned to cook now, right? And
Okay,
so, it helps me in that way at least.
that's great. Okay, so like for according to some of us, right, at Thoughtworks, like we feel like printing press did a lot of things where now books have become very common kind of stuff. Printing press did that change. Electricity brought in a lot of change. Assembly lines came, industry revolution happened, semiconductors, personal computing, and mobile internet. A lot of internet information is being shared very easily now. Like that, we feel generative AI is also going to be a very impactful and like going to disrupt the industry on how we work and everything. So knowing about generative AI, using it day to day, and having an opinion is definitely needed for each and every one of us, despite our roles, despite our industries. And yeah, that's what really. So when you ask an LLM a question, what what exactly happens? Let's say a QA is asking, write me a regression test on XYZ kind of stuff. What happens? You ask a question, and LLM like GPT or Claude that is there, or you use Chat GPT to ask this question. It writes you, it gives you an answer right away, right? And what if we can do more? That's where I'm coming to agents. Definitely you have seen agents over there, demos have happened and all. So so when, unlike just responding with some answer, right, when LLMs take do analysis, they decide on what to do and then act upon it. This cycle, if they follow, that's when agents are getting created. Okay, so this is where we have a lot of just beyond what age what LLMs are supposed to do, right? We ask LLMs to first think, then do this thing, do the task what they want to do. So giving the right set of tooling kind of stuff. So that's what is agents. Think and act beyond just simple response generation. So that's basically agents. And what are we solving here at Phantom QA? We're using the tool, right? And when we surveyed people from various communities, internal to ThoughtWorks, and also some people external, writing API automation test, we understood that takes about 5 hours to 5 days. This varies based on experience and complexity. I think maybe we and Sai and all, we did this. Maybe Sai, you can talk a little about this, if you can add a few points.
Yeah. I believe in the room there are quite a few QAs who have at least got a chance to write an API automation anytime before. Okay, quite a lot of hands, right? So, in your experiences, right, we'll leave this survey, we'll come to that, right? So, we'll hear out from, we'll probably do a new survey in the room. No? We'll leave that. Um, when when you have started to write your API automation in your projects, it could be a greenfield project, or maybe there's a project already running, then you go into that project. What are the certain things that you might consider as a QA? Anything, right? What is that you would think that, okay, if I'm writing this API automation, certain things you would tend to do, no? Because I saw a lot of hands coming up, right? What contract document should be there, correct? So that is the first thing, right? Okay. Which tool to use? Okay. Okay, existing automation framework, understanding it. So were you there in that spot anytime? Like understanding it? Okay, how roughly how long it took for you to understand? I mean, no one's judging here. It's just for us to understand, right? Because I've taken some codes like so I've taken some some frameworks when I see probably a week also I've taken to understand what is it based on the domain and things, right? So from your experience, how long have you taken to understand documentation? Oh man, who writes documentation proper? That is itself a question mark. So we leave that aside. Okay. Okay, let's assume proper documentation. Okay. So it's okay. You can put a number. Okay, 10, 12 days. Okay, 10 days we'll keep, right? Okay, what are the other things? A lot of people raised. Authentication mechanism. Okay, let's not go too deep into that, right? Let's say little very high level, right? Anything else? Very important thing when you start writing code. Tool is open source, paid, and all those stuff, right? So there's a lot of judging that we tend to do. And on top of that also, a very important aspect comes for us is, hey, my product is going to evolve, right? Which means my test suite also should evolve with it. Do people agree or don't agree, right? So you have certain features today. Based on that, you'll write. Tomorrow, some more features are coming. You want to write. Anyone have been in this spot where I wrote 5 test cases today, and then tomorrow this new feature, so I'll have to write the fifth or a sixth one? Anyone in the room? Everyone will be there, right? Okay. Has anyone gone through that stage when you're writing, like, okay, I just want to add this and I've built the framework in such a way it is very easy for me to do? Or how long, maybe, let's say that feature you want to plug in could have taken? Anyone, roughly? Okay.
So whenever we make any test case, we understood that this gonna be enhanced and
Enhanced.
reused. So we start making the methods parameterized and take the data from the feature
Okay.
level, everything.
So let's say if there's a new test case, if there's a refactoring that needs to go through your journey, because let's say there's a flow change happening, let's assume, right? There's a flow change itself because, of course, it's an active development. So can we say that probably it's going to take 30 minutes? Is 30 minutes a reasonable time we can consume, or slightly more than 30 minutes?
Less than 30 minutes, but
Okay,
we have
some
to read
more,
and
some less, based on, again, someone said how it is built, right? The code base, right? So, okay. So over here, we've got all the numbers in days, even if it's a refactoring, we get these in hours, right? Or even minutes, right? Based on how complex this is. So when we also did a kind of a survey over here from 5 hours to 15 days or 10 days, 5 days, right? We basically spoke to different personas, meaning a QA, a developer, or probably a tech lead who's not, or probably, someone who's a QA who's completely moved into consultant, who's not even touched code for many years, right? So I'm saying these are the different flavors of personas that we sort of spoke to. And, a similar kind of an question that we asked them is, "Oi, this is a API contract. Like someone said, contract is a base that we need. And we want you to write like roughly about 4 to 5 scenarios, right? Think about it, very simple. Even if it's status 200 is okay, right? We don't want anything fancy. So every persona had their own different thinkings, right? Maybe from a consultant to a senior consultant to a lead developer or person who's not touched code. So these were the kind of people who went through these surveys, right? And the kind of outcome we saw out of this is no judgmental in this entire survey. Some wrote really good code, right? And from that good code, let's Yeah, we can call it a good code. Let's not call it a best code, because there is no best for it. Something what I write is best for me may not be for Robin, right? So let's call it good code for here, right? So that way, there were certain principles in place, right? And there were some were not even exposed to those kind of principles, right? Because they didn't know there are certain design patterns that probably you can use, or there are certain principles that you need to look through. Very, very important, domain thinking, right? How you want to design your framework based on your domain, so that if there's any changes that comes into your product, you should be able to easily evolve within your framework, right? So these were all certain factors we saw, and with every persona at different levels, we saw some of the other gaps happening. Maybe a consultant was able to think about a lot of scenarios, okay, but a senior guy was not able to think of a lot of scenarios, but focus was all like, I'm going to put fancy code, design patterns, and etc., etc., thinking about the future. Right, there were different thought processes from different people, right? That's what this survey went through. And after that, like how Kirti was telling, is we wanted to bring something out which can sort of solve this entire problem, right? When agents can do something really smart, like how Robin was telling, right? We need to live with them, we need to be together, we are friends, we are no more like, oh, I don't want the agent, right? It's not like that. So because even for these agents, you need to tell them what they need to do, otherwise they will not know. I mean, Hercules, we spoke a lot in depth, right? So we need to tell, and that's what we thought we should pick up. Why 5 days to 5 hours to 5 days? And that's where we thought, okay, why not we do it in 5 minutes? you know Even if it's the an experienced guy, building that framework from scratch, I'm talking, right? When I say from scratch, starting from creating the folder, initting, dumping in your dependencies, downloading, etc., etc., right? So we thought, okay, why can't we solve this? Because this is a repetitive task, right? So in Thoughtworks, so we also have something like a like a catalyst projects that we do, right? So that we don't have to keep rebuilding things, right? I build something, and maybe there's another project who needs it. Why do you want to again put that entire a sprint or a two to do things again? There's already there, right? In a similar concept, we thought, okay, why don't we just do something which can reduce all of this, right? Maybe we can see a demo if Keerthi is in a mood to show a demo today.
Yes, definitely we can see a demo definitely. So yeah, so we wanted to create this tool. I'll just quickly go to. So yeah, it's now currently available in VS Code as an extension called PhantomQA, and you can definitely download this, but it's on a waitlist basis. So there's also a website to it. I'll show that you can join the waitlist, and in the initial few days, it will be open, so you can use your AI and you can use it for free. So yeah, let's probably see a quick demo over here. Okay. So when you download this particular extension, it will ask you for a key. I have my key over here. So I'll quickly enter that. So, so Phantom QA, when you enter, there are two types of things. Like sometimes you might, very, very few times, I think you'll be creating frameworks. And in most of the places where you go as brownfield, where projects are already existing, frameworks will also be existing. So you can also enhance with it, like adding new test cases kind of stuff. First, we'll see how to create the framework and the whole automation framework and add a few test cases. Okay. So I'm clicking create with Phantom QA. And here there is two options, API automation and UI automation. So as of now, there's support for API automation over here. Soon we are planning to extend this to UI automation also. I'll show you something around that also soon. Um, so coming to API automation, we have Swagger files. So you can upload the Swagger file as a JSON. I have the standard pet store example over here. So I'll upload that. So once you do that, you will be able to select like what all APIs that you want to test over here. To start with, I'll select two, and oops. So you'll have all. This is also supporting multiple languages over here. So here you see here Python, Java, and JavaScript. If you're not able to see, I can zoom in. Yeah. Okay. So there is also multiple language support over here. So this doesn't matter what you want. There will be more languages also supporting soon. So let's take probably JavaScript as a thing. And inside JavaScript also, there's a lot of test runners that we have, correct? So this is not going to be like very specific to one language. You have to follow this kind of stuff. So let's say jest and generate automation framework. Now, internally, when we spoke about agents, right, we told that it can think, analyze, and decide kind of stuff. So when I gave this as my thing, it started thinking like, what exactly I need to do over here? What are the steps I need to follow? First, when it jotted that down, next it started doing one by one. And it's first creating the folder, all the folders that is required. Did it create that? It also has access to your CLI. So run command executes directly on your terminal. And it has created the package.json. I'll keep accepting. You shouldn't keep accepting ideally. You should definitely go through, do the review, and then only accept. But yeah, for the demo, I'll accept it. So now it is creating like basically it knows like these are the certain coding principles and design patterns that should be there for the API automation frameworks that are available out there. I should think about scalability and all. So, and it is trying to follow these. Okay. So by the time it generates, do you have initial doubt? Yeah. Yes, yes. So definitely, this is an initial support, Swagger, but soon we might be able to even connect with Jira or Trello boards to understand from functional way of yes, yes, definitely. So again, this is an LLM. So like he was also telling the file is just for something to put in there. So you give it whatever you want, it's gonna work. Adding support to it, making sure it's working best way is what we are trying to do. Oh, okay. Anything else? Yes, yes. It passed through your yeah. So validations as in sorry.
How it is handling like whether the request is successfully hit or it is having any issue. Let's take I have uploaded incorrect JSON. So these
So
things.
yeah.
So what happens over here, right? Basically, on the assertions aspect, from an API point of view, because here we have not given it a domain knowledge over here, right? So if you give it a domain knowledge, it will understand, create assertions based on that domain knowledge. Here we have not given domain knowledge. So what basically it's going to do is for a API testing, what are the different types of assertions it can think? Maybe if it's a successful response, it should be a 200 status with certain response code or response body and things, right? So whatever it can know within that given Swagger documentation, it will do. Because in this case, when you give a schema, your schema of course will talk also about what should be the status code, if it's a success, if it's a failure, what kind of response body should I have, right? So based on that, it will just create all these tests and assertions for you. But if you want to feed your entire domain context, you can also do before that. If you do that, then all of that will clearly only depend on your domain.
If you see here, like it is creating some test data over here. Like it told if we would have given docs like one input that we can additionally give over here, it will understand the domain and create the test data accordingly over here. So this can even like understand if there is any syntax error, fix on its own. It has the access to this problems tab of VS Code. If any syntax error comes up, VS Code automatically catches that. And uh, so basically PhantomQA can look into those, fix those also. Yeah. So let's say like one more advantage of using AI in these, like you might see like there are tools where you can just upload Swagger, get a boilerplate where you can start with, but you'll have to do some modification on top of it. And you might see all the test scenarios are not there. So we are using a tool like AI agents kind of stuff. What happens is it has given you a happy path kind of stuff. And let's say uh, not every failing case is over here captured. So you can additionally give over here saying that I want more failure cases. specifically target these. So this is also some input on a customizability aspect you can give.
So over here, right, because this right hidden domain context. So let's say it has generated this entire framework. It has generated the entire framework for you. So like how Kirti was saying, you can also go in and possibly tell it that, hey, this is my domain. I want you to refactor keeping all of this. So it's going to again, completely create folders, restructure, and change your entire framework based on the context what you have given. Let's say, for example, if you are let's say like Uber, right? You have a customer, you have a driver concept, right? So now you want to break this into two. That's the domain context for you. There's a customer and there's a driver. Now you can tell this, hey, this is the certain app XYZ. So this test is for a customer. So you need to refactor these codes thinking that this app is for a customer. So then it's going to refactor everything from a specific domain knowledge and it's going to break it down as well. So those kind of things also you can do on the fly over here. And of course, when it comes to API things, we can probably also extend it into few more things like security aspects, right? So you can also do those kind of checks within this.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah,
Yeah, the outgoing tokens that we are seeing, are only
yes,
52. So, I mean, they're quite low, right? In terms of token numbers outgoing. Like that is the request going to LLM, correct?
yes, that's true.
So
So
how is that low? I mean, for a prompt, you would need some higher number, right? Or
yeah, I'll add to that. So basically over here, okay, my README file is not opening. I have some VS Code problem, so it ideally writes the documentation also. But yeah, coming to this API cost. So since we are making it open as of now, we also have API cost tracking available as part of, because it's your AI that you're using. So cost should be known how much it is taking up, and the tokens and the cache. So under the hood, it's using Claude. So over here we have some APIs around caching, prompt caching, and also the tokens where we send the LLM. So most of the things are cached over here. So which is saving about, if you don't have cache, it's about 20 to 30% extra cost. So that's the one use for API calls where you are downloading a lot of information because here context is not going, because it's a plain file that is available, right? Where we started from scratch. But all the things are going to cache whatever is coming back, and whatever responses are coming, that you will see 12K tokens.
okay, so if I go for an enhanced mode, the outgoing tokens would be higher,
Yes,
basically.
definitely. Because the whole goal of this app is to understand what exactly is there in your existing framework, understand the folder structure, understand the patterns that you are using, and write on top of it also.
Send that question. So I see that you are doing prompt caching, which is great. Are you also doing any prompt compression in the middle?
So prompt compression, we are not doing anything around that.
Because okay, why I asked that question is like this is a very happy path scenario. One of the applications where I used to work, they had 150 API endpoints.
Got it.
So this will become very huge, and any
Yes.
LLM, Claude, whatever, brothers,
Yes.
sisters, and siblings, they have context window limits.
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
so no compression, no problem.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll definitely. As of now, we have limited the checkboxes to two, two
Yeah.
endpoints. But yes,
Okay.
as and when we keep building, prompt compression is something that is definitely
Okay.
to be there. So yeah. So I already have a framework that I can show you quickly. So this also gives you like what all commands to run, and apart from that, when you run this, it also creates a dashboard kind of to understand how exactly what tests passed, what tests failed, and very beautiful dashboard it creates. So coming to the one, like we were also seeing, like this is all about API automation, correct? Yeah, sure.
Suppose there are any changes in the endpoint or the responses, and you wanted to recreate, make the changes accordingly in the code.
Yes,
Are you providing those facilities?
sure.
Like,
If you're already working on this and you find a change over here, you can ask it to change by
mhm.
giving the new spec, or you can also come back over here. That's where the enhancement comes. So enhance with PhantomQA. where it says like the folder structure, it selects and upload a Swagger file. You can also enter manual endpoint over here.
Okay.
Okay. And when you upload a Swagger file, oh, sorry. When you upload a Swagger file, you also see like this I'm updating,
Mhm.
or this endpoint I want to add to it. And you can say add test. So it tries to see whether the test is already existing. If so, it will update, or else it will add a new test based on that. Let's say the functionality itself is new, it will try to add. The functionality is already existing, it writes on top of it.
Okay, it overrides the existing
Yes.
code.
The first job will be for enhancement. The first job will be to go through every single aspect of what is your framework and how you are writing it. Then only on top of it, it will enhance. Yes. Uh, yes.
Like API chaining. Does it
Yeah.
works?
So as of now, we are doing at an API level over here, but that is something that we are looking into.
Okay.
Domain context come into
Yes.
So if you give your domain context, so it knows easily what is the, so let's say from API response one, you need to get the response. From that response, you want to feed it to response two, right? So then that becomes your chaining, right? So if you give it as a, if you give the domain knowledge to it, saying this is how it works, it understands and it can create the chaining as well.
You mean to say we have to train it, is it?
Sorry?
We have
No.
to
So
train.
training is different. You need to give it a domain knowledge. Let's say, for example, now it's a swagger like pet store, right? So what it has done is it doesn't know anything about these. So you have given a swagger based on the swagger context, it has generated to its knowledge, right? But now inside this, there might be a domain to you. Right? Let's say, for example, there might be certain criteria inside this pet store itself to say that, hey, I must not be able to allow 20 pets in a day. Now, this 20, not allowing 20 pets in a day is a domain for you. It's your business, right? Your context. So you need to, if you give that context, based on that, it can generate the test cases also for you, right? So that's where, so it's not training, you're only giving it a context for it. So if you give it more information, more context, it knows what to do based on that context.
How about a kind of token? Consider
How about?
a token. If any API requires a token to send a request as
See,
part of
when, if
headers,
you
how do you
come, if you
manage?
talk about LLM, there is money. Okay, nothing, there are also open source authentication
Authentication,
tokens.
yes.
See, again, that completely depends on, it can write a code for you. Let's say if your authentic, if your code, let's say you're using SSO, one of the SSOs, right? So you can tell this is a specific SSO, it will add that SDK, generate that code for you. Okay, now whether it will work, it will not work based on your redirects and etc., it doesn't know, right? That's where you come and fine tune it based on your redirects, your pathways and things like that. But based on, let's say now if you're using Azure, if you tell it this is my, like Azure AD or something, right? It will add that also into it. But again, based on your, how you've been structured, SSO, redirects and etc., that tweaking we need to do. Did I answer your question? If not, we can go
Yeah,
through that.
yeah, that's fine.
Did I answer your
No,
question?
no, that's fine. We can
We can
discuss
catch up.
later.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
So I think when we have some kind of a documentation support to add, right? So domain language, domain context automatically flows in, and it will be able to understand how should I do integrated testing of multiple APIs. Yeah. So one more thing that we have seen is basically you would have seen over here UI automation also. So there's one tool called as Stark Vision that is there, that Sai is a creator of. And one second, I'll just open that quickly. So we are planning to integrate this. As of now, this has a mobile testing framework that is there using AI. You can talk to Sai on detail on how exactly this works, and how do I join the waitlist and everything. Definitely, you can talk to Sai after the sessions. And yeah, so moving back to ours. So you can also register on the waitlist of PhantomQA. By December 15th or January 1st, we'll be rolling out to initial few users where you can use your own AI keys and do the testing, play around with it, give us feedback on top of that. So please take screenshots of this.
Yeah, and in the previous talk when Robin was talking about, Hercules as an agent, right? So, so he was also talking about a lot of agents underneath, um, Hercules. A similar way, either a Stark Vision or a Phantom QA can also become another a sub agent to another agent, right? So that way, even if you have few agents built internally, so two agents can live along and talk to each other and understand and make things easier also.
Sai, can you come with this camera? Yeah. So yes, you can also follow us on LinkedIn for updates on this. We'll be regularly posting uh, regarding this when it is getting rolled out, and you will also get an email uh, based on your wait list. So yes. So let's talk. I guess my
Any
stuff is done.
questions? Anything? Yeah, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
only do it for VS Code. We will not do it for anything else because of the
Building
bandwidth.
IntelliJ plugins are
Yeah,
too
yeah,
difficult.
yeah. So yes, we
Too
will
crazy
limit it
also.
only to VS Code. We will not do it for anything else. Any other questions? Okay, sweet then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.